Well, it's just past 3 p.m. on Sunday, the 14th of December, and we have popped down to the allotment on our way back from lunch with some folks, with some trepidation because there was an email from the council site manager a couple of days ago to complain about structures blowing about, and well, I think that's what's left of one of them. Yeah, these little flying polytunnels tend to be a bit of a problem, uh, well known amongst the allotmenting community that they blow away. Unfortunately, apparently what's happened is that polytunnel blew into someone else's plot and destroyed another structure, which may be what's happened there, which is sad because those folks spent quite a lot of time building that one up. Yeah, that's looking pretty terrible. If you look carefully there, that's really torn apart. It did have a cover on it before and no longer. So I'm not sure if there's anything else that's suffered. There's a few blown over things there. As a storm we had recently was Storm Bram. All these names, it gets confusing sometimes. Oh, they've got some daffodils growing already down there. Interesting. Lots of bits and pieces. I'm not seeing too much damage aside from those things at the front. Thankfully our polytunnel is definitely still in place on the right there. Ours is commercial grade with very heavy steel, and the poles, the uprights, came with cement on them already, which we buried into the ground. So I don't think our polytunnel's going anywhere. From down here, I can't see much else has come apart down there. Anyway, into our plot. We're just passing by. I've got the coffee grounds in the car, which I've just forgotten because I pulled the camera out instead. How are we going? Let's have a look down here first. So we planted some garlic down here the other day. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing any of the named garlics have popped up yet, but these monobulbs we put in have sprouted. Looks like they're all coming up. There's that one's for some reason come on the wrong side of that stick, and there's one just coming up down there. I'm surprised none of these have come up. It's a worry. Our named varieties from King's Seeds in there. And then over in this plot, I'm not seeing... Oh, I can see it. There's one there. Yeah, I'm not seeing much else going on in there yet. There should be multiple rows of garlic in here, and you can see it better from the other side because there's little wooden knives put in to show. So all of those should be rows of garlic. So they're slow for some reason. Meanwhile, this stuff is looking good. This is the wonky white from the Isle of Wight garlic, and we're missing two here. 1, 2. But I think otherwise it's a full house. That wasn't looking so great just there. It's a little stubby one, but oh well. And then we might want to be lifting this net off soon. Though they should come off the garlics pretty well. But as we can see, the garlics are growing pretty well. Something's burrowed up a hole just there. Not what we want to see really. Garlic's growing strongly there. But there's another burrow. If you can see in the middle of the screen, there's a big hole in the bed there. We will always be fighting these rodents in these beds, I think. I don't really want to turn this into a whole plot tour, and I want to keep it pretty short. And this will just be the start of the next video I do for, mid-December-ish. We've got to finish cleaning up in here. Got to pull out, or rather chop off all this old rocket and stuff and get these beds watered. We want to get some moisture into these beds. So I might do that now. It is past 3 right now, so it's going to get dark pretty quickly soon. And we've roasted some pumpkin at home and have some cooking planned to do. So we'll see what we get to. This compost is compacting down, as always. Good to see. Not much else going on. We haven't done anything in this bed back here. This is turning into a plot tour, isn't it? We've had a little bit of a blow around, but that was already down there. So it's not new that the IBC half is in the ditch. I've got to fish that out. This has blown off the pallet, I think. I think that was on the pallet before. And amazingly, in the greenhouse, that's the word I want, amazingly in the greenhouse, which is currently 10.8 degrees, the chili plants are still going. And look, we've got ripe ahi mangoes. I should say ahi mango. Ripe ahi mangoes. Some ripening orange drops. And some ripening madreveja, yellow ones down there. So that's pretty surprising. But yeah, thankfully I'm not seeing any major wind blowing about damage. Nothing's missing that I can obviously spot. So that's good. Okay. I'm going to trek back to the car and get those coffee grounds to throw into the compost. But that'll be it. I'm going to do this video at the start of the video. And then I'm going to wind back because I've got some video of the cooking we've done. We've done some bits and pieces with various allotment produce. So I'll wind back, what's probably about a week till next weekend, because we didn't come down the plot at all last weekend. Oh, and we can see some of these Longour shallots are sprouting. So that's good to see. A few Longour shallots. We've got some of our own we want to plant in another bed at some point. But yeah, it's already mid-December, so we better crack on with that. Anyway, I will go down the car and get those coffee grounds, stick them on the compost. And we'll wrap up for today, mostly, I think. We'll see. It's about 1300 on Sunday, the 7th of December. Pretty grim day outside. Yesterday we got distracted doing shopping and things. Bought a new couch, which is to say we bought a very old couch. At a discount, because I'm going to theoretically be helping out some people at a nearby makerspace understand how to use their CNC and laser cutter machines. Anyway, these are the chili plants that we pulled out of the allotment. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. It was in one of the videos. Now, these fruits were all totally green. We stripped off all of the fruits with any colour on them. So as you can see, they ripen up quite nicely on the plant. We find that they seem to ripen up better, or at least stay in better condition, when you pull the whole plant off like this and leave them on the branch. This is Thunder Mountain Longhorns down here, and this is the Kashmiri Merch. I'll be getting them into the dehydrator today. Now, over here is the plant shelf, which we've spoken about in the past, and it has just freshly been cleared of all the junk that piles up in there over the non-plant shelf months. It was full of tools and toolboxes and stuff, which are now all over the floor. That's a whole other problem. So what we have is we have this plugged into one of these TP-Link switches. Now these ones we've got are actually quite old and on their last legs. I just had to bash this against a wooden surface to get it working again. The bad sign, that is, basically the little relay inside had clearly welded itself in the open position. So I can control that via, say, Home Assistant and set up a schedule, or via the TP-Link app. I'd rather have a totally in-house solution, something using maybe the Shelly equipment, but we've got these old TP-Links for now. As you can see, there's a CCTV up there, though that's pointed at the ground. I have in the past had plant cam. We've got some cheap plant lights, grow lights up here, panels that I did a video about a while back about setting them up, plus this proper big, more commercial style one. And this is generally a good space to start chilies and stuff over the winter. But also to try overwintering a few things, because we have limited space. We don't really heat the house, so it's quite cold in here. So yeah, so that's the plant shelf ready for operation. While I'm going around this room, here's some more chilies. That's the Yucky Blues, and as you can see, they have picked up some redder colour as well. I'm not sure what I'm doing with them yet. But anyway, yep, not sure what we're doing today. We may go down to the plot, or we may not. It's a bit grim outside. As you can see, as I look out of our study window, which is the room I was just in where the plant shelf is. We keep the plant shelf in here because this is always the warmest room in the house, because it's got like 3 computers permanently running, and it's a small room, which is quite central to the building. But yeah, grey and damp out there. Anyway, this is our little window display of houseplants. A few succulents down there. Cat mainly looks after these at the moment. If we both look after them, we find they get a bit overwatered sometimes. Got a few things here that need repotting because they're in such tiny little pots. And that's one of the things on my very long to-do list. Okay, time to stop this little video and get into the kitchen. So we have all kinds of stuff sitting around the kitchen at the moment. There's tomatoes behind me ripening in various states. Most of these, I mean, this whole tray here came off the vines totally green. As you can see, we got a good bit of ripening coming through in there. These are the slightly older ones, more ripening there. So yep, that's all good. Obviously lots of these green capsicum type things, bullhorn capsicums. And even more green bullhorn capsicum type things and some ripening ones on a chair over the other side of the table. Yes, the kitchen is covered in various foodstuffs, basically. It's our larder at the moment. Generally 12 degrees or so, or below. So it's not a bad place to keep a few things for a short to medium term. Even still got a few of those quinces lying about, as you can see there. And this is most of our potato crop in Hessian sacks on the floor. Not exactly ideal. And if we come back to the stove, I can talk about what I was originally planning to talk about, which is the fact that we've got all of these yellow Madre Vija and orange drop chilies that we've harvested from the allotment, which I need to turn into a chili sauce, which is one I like to do, which is basically the chilies, bit of onion, and then the key flavors are fresh ginger and turmeric. Though this year we've got a bit of pineapple we might throw in there as well. But yeah, so the plan is to sort of turn all of these into that sauce before they go rotten. As you can see, some of these are not in the best state already. And we've got a few ahi mangoes, which we're going to add to our dried ahi mango collection for turning into a powder. As I mentioned before, they'll go into the dryer with the Kashmiri mirch I was just looking at in the study. So yeah, that's where we're at in the kitchen. All kinds of things to do. We've also got a lot of pumpkins over in the summer house, which we need to work out what to do with, how to store them, and when to use them. If we pop out to the conservatory, these are those two chilies I potted up from the plot the other day. We'll try overwintering them. They're a bit space consuming. They're a lot bigger than I normally sort of try to rescue chilies at. So if I put them in the grow shelf, they're going to kind of take over. Not quite sure where we're going to put them yet. I don't really want to take up the whole grow shelf with some overwintering chilies. Whilst we're in here, I might as well pan over to our table in the conservatory, where we have a few things kind of trying to survive. Our not very well looked after winter crops are here. We need to plant them out. As you can see, some things are already going to flower in here. These are some tender herbs and stuff we picked up from the Norfolk Herb Farm, which I need to pot on before they all end up as dead as this tarragon looks. Tarragon may be rescuable if I pot it up and look after it, probably somewhere slightly warmer. The conservatory is not particularly warm over the winter. It gets very cold in here, so it's probably not the right place for some of this stuff. Some of it I might move to the grow shelf in the study. We have a few different things sort of kicking around in here. Hottentot figs in a pot there. They're probably not going to like it in here over winter either. These are some hollyhocks, which we just never planted out. We've planted out a lot of their brethren in the garden. And here's a bit of a sweet potato that we never really looked after properly or never planted. But yeah, on the topic of sweet potatoes, here are some sweet potato cuttings we got off a Fediverse friend. I need to pot them up pretty smooth soon. In fact, that's one of the jobs I should do today, really, is make up a potting compost with some coir and some other compost materials and get them into some dirt. And they can actually live on the grow shelf, which is just up there. And we can also pop a few other things onto the grow shelf. Okay, quick 4 p.m. update. Done a few bits and pieces around the place, including getting chilies into the dehydrator. So we've got a couple of shelves of Kashmiri merch there, and I decided to dry the yucky blues. They smell amazing. They're kind of, I don't think they're sort of a Naga type variety. I think they have that aroma. They're not as hot as a Naga. I'd call them a pretty hot, not a super hot. There's actually the odd little bit of Naga in there as well. Then we have the last of our ahi mangoes, which will join them on the right there to become a powder. That's our pre-dried Kashmiri merch there. And then right in the bottom I've just got a few of these Thunder Mountain Longhorns down there. And this is running away. We'll run this. This will run overnight and probably into the next day or so. It takes a good couple of days to dehydrate the chilies. We run that at 50 degrees, well, the maximum it does is 10 hours at a time, but before bed we tend to pump it up so it runs overnight. But yeah, and then a couple more things happening in the kitchen. So in the kitchen I've added more tomato to that pot of passata. Basically everything that was somewhat ripe at least is in there, so I had to upgrade it to the bigger pot. So that's going to simmer away until they're all nice and soft, and then we can put it through the food mill. And currently I'm chopping all of the various green capsicums. Some of them are probably some padrons, and I'm going to chop that a second time to get it down into sort of a finish or medium dice. And then that's going to become the key base for our gumbo. We've already got some chopped up celery, and then I'll chop some onions to go in there as well. And then we start roux watch while I make the big gumbo roux with lots of flour and butter. Well, flour and oil usually, actually. And probably after we've done the gumbo, I'm going to start on getting these made into a chili sauce with that ginger and other stuff. Okay, time to crack on. Okay, we are at 20 past 5-ish now, and roux watch has been occurring. So it's a pretty big roux. It's a 3 cup of flour, 2 cup of oil roux this. In the smaller saucepan we've got here, but it will get transferred into our biggest saucepan once all the vegetables and meat go into it. And we're nearly ready. What I'm aiming for in my typical gumbo roux is dark chocolate tone. And there's a bit of Cadbury Bourneville dark chocolate for comparison. We're not quite there yet, but we might be about close enough. This needs fairly constant stirring just to make sure you don't get any burntness on the bottom, because if it burns it's not the best. It gets a bitterness you don't really want in there. That passata has simmered down a bit. I'll turn that off now. I just wanted to reduce it a bit because this is probably the last passata of the season, and tends to get a bit less rich in flavour with these tomatoes that we sort of shelf ripen. This is chicken stock. That's actually just pan drippings rinsed down with water from frying, from oven cooking the chicken legs, which is what our kind of main gumbo ingredient is. Plus, in place of andouille sausage, we have a very nice smoked garlicky Polish sausage here. And here's all of our green capsicum and some red onion there. So yeah, that's kind of the key constituent ingredients of the gumbo. Pretty much ready to go. Obviously we'll put some garlic in as well. And there's celery, which I've just defrosted a bit in the microwave. So yeah, that's where we're at. And the gumbo is nearly happening. And this is looking pretty good now. If we put it next to the dark chocolate, it's still a shade lighter, but that's good enough, I reckon. Anyway, I better get the vegetables into this now and get it all transferred into the bigger pot. Well, as usual, I ran out of day and didn't end up making the yellow sauce, but made a very nice gumbo. Didn't end up potting any plants up, which is a pity, but oh well. Got to get up at about 5 tomorrow for work, so it's off to bed at about 10:30. and looking at a bit of plant porn. Oh, they look really nice. Might think about getting some of them for the front of the allotment. But yeah, anyway, that's Sunday. All done. It's now about 2:30 on Wednesday, the 10th of December. It's a work from home day. I'm taking a quick lunch break and I'm going to powderize these ahi mangoes. These are the ones we dried before. I popped them back in the dryer last night just to make sure they're extra crispy. And these are the newest ones we have just dried from the weekend. So let's get these powderized. This is how dry we like to see our little chilies for this job. They crush by hand very well. So I'm going to crush all those chilies by hand quickly. So that's all those chilies crushed up. And we're now going to powderize them in this little whirly blade Krups grinder. It does the job just well. I'm going to have to use both hands for this, so I have to put the camera down. Okay, it's all loaded in. It smells beautiful, but it's really getting up my nose and I get a sneeze. Oh boy. Oh boy. Don't worry, I wasn't facing my chili when I did that. Okay, get our little lid on and we just give it a blast. I like to give it a shake around while I'm doing it just to make sure everything mixes around and hopefully all gets fairly evenly crushed. We do this with the whole chili including the seeds. I just figure I may as well. It worked last time. Okay. I'll need both hands to open this, it seems. And there we go. It's pretty powdery. I will put it through a small sieve before putting it into a jar. Oh, my nose is running. That is our sifted powder and the stuff that came out of it. Mostly little bits of seed that haven't crushed up properly. Okay, next up is to get this into a jar. Okay, that's the dried chili processing. Pretty much done for the year, I'd say. These are all of our Kashmiri merch, dried. The yellow one is the ahi mango. This slightly darker one is the yucky blue. Interesting one, that one. It's got a very, I would say, tomato-y flavour. It reminds me of tomato flavoured crackers, strangely enough. Oh, except very, very spicy. And I also have these, what are they called? Thunder Mountain Longhorns, which I haven't packaged yet. But I'll put them in a packet, probably a bit like this one. And yeah, that's a job done, which is good. Sorry about the noise in the background, you can probably hear the jets flying over. Anyway, next job is to make that yellow chili sauce. So that's 5 kilos of passata packaged up. What I love about this is we've just been like immersion pasteurizing them. Put them in there for a while. We get it boiling first and we put it in there and simmer it for 20 minutes. And one of the things that always tells me we've got a good seal is see this bubbling here. That's actually effectively vacuum boiling because as it's cooling here, there's no heat under this, the hot solution continues to boil because of the low pressure created by the vacuum in the lid. So these 4 are pasteurized because we can only fit 4 into that pot at a time, and this is with the 2, we're keeping that separate. That'll go in the fridge for more immediate use. But yeah, 5 kilos of passata right there. Probably our last passata of the year. Just here there's some potato that Kat is frying up for dinner. Okay, another job done. Righty, it's about 18:45 on Sunday the 14th of December. Doing some timey-wimey stuff with the video recording for this allotment postcard, which is number 46. I had some footage from earlier today at the start, and then I've gone back in time and done some food and cooking footage. And now we're after all of the footage and back in the kitchen. So this is roast pumpkin from the stills that were just shown before this, of a butternut pumpkin, which in the allotment we were generally calling long boy, though I have recently renamed it to Buttzilla, because that amused me. But yeah, so we've got a couple of plans for this. One is good old pumpkin scones, an Australian country classic. And also pumpkin ravioli, probably pumpkin, goat cheese, and maybe some walnut, to be decided. I don't know if I'll get around to that tonight. Maybe the scones, we'll see. The scone recipe is quite easy and quick to cook up. While I'm at it, these are some growing Longhorn shallots from our own selection, which we may try planting in the allotment. At this time of year, a lot of our shallots are actually starting to try and grow. We probably should have been keeping them somewhere warmer than we were, but they're still good, as per this whole bowl of shallot here. So I am finally doing that yellow chili sauce I have talked about at least 2 or 3 times previously in this video. So we have in the past made really nice chili sauce using the madreveges and the orange drops separately. So a slightly yellower sauce and a slightly oranger sauce we end up with. Now the basis of that sauce is to combine it with ginger and turmeric and some spices, and it makes a really nice sauce. So what we have is about 520 grams of this. I think there's 360 grams of the madrevesia and 160 grams of the orange drop. We have a pile of fresh ginger. I'll put the ingredients roughly up on the screen, I guess. Some garlic, our own shallot, some tinned pineapple. We've not put tinned pineapple in this before, but we had this left over from doing some pizza the other night, so we thought that sounds like an interesting thing to put in. Some spices here. We've got mustard seed and fenugreek seed, and I will, well, normally I'd have a lot of dried coriander in this as well, like maybe twice as much of the mustard seed down there, but we have actually run out of dried coriander in the house, which is weird. So I'm going to add lemon juice. It's definitely not the same, but we'll adjust the flavour to taste. There'll be some vinegar and some other bits and pieces in this. This is not the total ingredients in front of us, but that's kind of the core of the flavours right there. So I'll be cracking on with that now, and maybe some pumpkin scones. But what else we get up to will probably be in another video, because I want to get this one wrapped up. So we'll see what we get to, but it's probably later on that we'll get to actually seeing the final products of these two things. Okay. Righty. Okay, so these beds in the polytunnel now have a whole bunch of water put on them. Not tons, but basically 2 cans down there and 2 per side here. Just getting some moisture into the soil, because otherwise it gets really parched over the winter, and we'll need to make sure we top up some moisture in this every couple of weeks or so. And we're going to get garlic down the middle of each of these beds and down the sides eventually. Hopefully soon. As I said, given it's mid-December already, we kind of need to crack on with those plans. Don't seem to have spotted any glitter kitten today, though we've only been here a few minutes really. And while I was getting on with things in there, Cat picked some of these chillies. Kind of crazy. Here we are, mid-December, harvesting chillies. I'm surprised. I mean, those ahi mangoes have all ripened within the space of a couple of weeks. Not so much ripening on the madrevejas, but cool. Anyway, so yep, I'm going to end the video with this bit of footage. And we had the foodie stuff in the middle, I think. Well, we'll see how that works. Best laid plans and all. We'll see how we go. Anyway, cheerio to the next one. I guess with a bit of a holiday between next Friday, so 19th of December or 20th, from Saturday through to the following week, Sunday, I've got 9 days off. Maybe we'll get a few things done depending on the weather. We shall see. And then I expect I'll have another video, probably around the new year sometime, end of the month. Cool. Well, if you do Christmas and stuff, then have a good one. I don't. But we've got a winter solstice goose next Sunday. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some things done. Cheerio.